Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on weekly Python Study Jam. And we've covered the variables, basic data types, conditional statements with if-else. And today we're gonna jump in to loops. So we use loops for iterations to for example, find an item in the list or find a character in a string. And we're gonna cover the lists and other data types in next study jam. So I think today you're gonna have some basic understanding of the different types of containers. So let's see the first example. So we have a variable primes, which is a list. So it's like a container that has different integers in it, like an array. And to loop through these items, we use a structure with four special word for. Then we specify an item. It can be any name. For example, here we use prime. It could be X or it could be I or anything like item value. Then we use a special word in, and then we specify what container we are going to iterate. So in this case, we iterate primes, which is a list. So we have for prime in primes, and then we put the column. So after that, we have a body of the for loop. It's similar to function. After column, we have a body of a function. Then we say what we're going to do. In this simple example, we just print all the items from this list. So if we run this program, we will get, do we need to initialize it? Okay, so we have 2, 3, 5, 7. They are printed. Yeah, is it clear? If it's clear, then we're gonna go to another example. So let's make a simple example using this primes case. For example, we have different names, like we have Aman, we have Dimaral, and we have Rivati, and Adil. And we can name this as students. So to list all students that came for this study jam, what we're gonna do, we should write the for statement. Could you give me some hints? How should I do it?
Ma'am, I think we should change for prime in students.
Yeah.
Print
So,
prime or student in students. You just need to change the variable name and the list name.
okay.
I mean that.
Would it be enough?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, that's correct. I think I did some mistake. Name amount is undefined. Okay.
Is it because we haven't used quotation? Because
yeah, it's a string. Yeah.
Question mark.
Thank you. Yeah, so this is strings, and we used integer before, so it should work now. I think, yeah, it works well. We have all names listed. So in this example, I wanted to emphasize that this like variable or the name of a variable of an item in a list can be any word. We just need to specify correctly the list here, and then use this list for iteration. Yeah. So the next example is using the method range. So what it does is we can iterate through the number list. For example, if we have 5 in the attribute here, argument here, then for x in the range 5, we're gonna print us all the numbers until 5 exclusively. So if I put here a comment, the period of this list will go from 0 to 5 like this. So we include 0, but we don't include 5. Then we can specify here, we just put the number of elements. We can also specify the start point and end point. And again, we don't include 6. And we can also specify the interval. For example, we start from 3, we end up at 8, and then we iterate by 2. So if we print all these 4 loops, we have here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a result for the first for loop. Then we have 3, 4, 5, which is the result of a second loop. And the last one we have 3, 3, 5, 7. Yeah. So if there is no question, we're gonna move towards while loops. Or these examples. Okay, so we used a for x, for example, in some range or in the list. Then we can also use while loops to do the same things. So for loop is when we use for loop, we either iterate over some containers, or we state the range of some numbers, right? When we use while loop, we iterate the process when the condition statement is evaluated to true. Yeah. So for example, we have count variable 0, so it's just starting point. Then we evaluate if the count is less than 5, then while this statement is true, then we're gonna run the body of this while loop. So in this case, when the count is less than 5, we will print this count value. And one thing that we should pay attention to or notice is that in while loops, we should always change the value of iterable, how to say, in this case, the count. So if we don't include this iteration over count, this is gonna be a infinite loop, because if the count doesn't change, then 0 less than 5 will be always true, and we're gonna print 0, 0, 0, 0 infinite amount of time. So let's print it, and we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, here we have only until 4, because we use the less than operator. And if I include less or equal to 5, we will have from 0 to 5. So is it clear? The while loops. And in for loops, we don't iterate here, because x will gonna change by itself. After each loop, x value is going to proceed to the next value in the list, to the next value in the list of, for example, numbers here. If we want to, for example, we have a count which is equal to 0, and then we want, for example, to sum up all the values in this range. We can sum up all the values of x. No, I don't want to use this. I want to, okay, x equal to x plus count. So what I want is I want to add count value to each x value in the range of 3 to 8. But I don't want to add the same count value. Then I can iterate count here. So each for loop, each cycle, we will increase the count value by 1 and add to the x value. So this is how we can iterate count, but it's not the same as the while in the while loop. So let's try to run this program. Okay. 0, 1. Okay, what I did is,
I think we haven't printed that.
what?
And we haven't printed for x in base 3. That's why it's not showing, maybe.
You mean we didn't print x value?
Yes. For see in count, while we have printed now, print count, that's, and here we haven't printed. I'm also not.
0, okay. Let's check it in the new environment just to make it more clear what we do here. Okay, we run this. Yeah. Okay, so first of all, we have a count variable equal to 0. Then we iterate over a array of numbers that start from 3 till 8 exclusively. So it means that we have 3, then we increase the next value by 2, 5, and 7. Yeah. So for x in this range, first value is 3. Then we add count to our x value. So the count now equals to 0. Then the x will be equal in this step. The x will be equal to 3. Then we add 1 to the count. So now count equals to 1. And we print x. So we print 3. This is correct. Then we are finished with the body of the for loop, and we go to the next cycle. So the x is going to be 5. We add count. So last time we increased count by 1. So that's why we have the next x equal to 6. Then we increase count by 1 again. So next time count equals to 2. And we print x, which is 6 here. Then we go to the last cycle, x equal to 7. we add count, which is equal to 2. That's why we have 9. We increase count by 1. Now count equals to 3. We print 9. And then we don't have any x values, so here the for loop stops. So if this is clear, then we're gonna cover the next terms, which are break and continue statements. When we use break statements, we end the for loop and the while loop, while when we use continue statement, we just skip the current cycle. So let's see the example. We have count equal to 0, and while true, we print count. And when we print count for the first time, we iterate each time the value of count. Then we evaluate. If count is more or equal to 5, then we stop the cycle. So we use break statement. So what do you think would be the outcome of this while loop? How many or what's going to be printed here in this while loop? Before you, so you can just suggest any outcome by printing or typing in the chat, or unmute yourself and just let's discuss what's going to be here. Any ideas? We can discuss the result or the logic itself if you want. Okay, let's go one by one. Okay, Akash says that this is going to be just 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's correct, because let's go line by line. Okay, we have another. Aman says, okay, the same output. So let's go line by line. I don't know exactly if all of you that did not respond yet understand it, or it's too easy, or it's difficult to understand. So I will just go line by line again. So while true means it's always true, right? So if we don't have any break statements here in the body, it's gonna be an infinite loop. So in the infinite loop, they want to print the count. And each iteration, they want to increase the count value by 1. Then they included an evaluation statement. If count is equal or more than 5, then we will break this infinite loop. We will stop this infinite loop. Without this evaluation, it's going to be ever increasing value of count, and each time they will print this value. So it means that when after 4, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. After 5 loops, this while loop will break. Let's check it. Let's check how many. Yeah, it's gonna be 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Let's go for another example. So here we use continue statement. We use for loop, and let me give you some like 1 or 2 minutes to decide or identify what would be the output here. And let's do line by line. So each of you are going to explain each line like I do. So I want to increase the engagement and make sure that everyone understands this topic. Let's guess what will be the output here. So Akash says 13579. Okay, Rivati says the same. Okay. Okay, let's discuss. So Adil, do you think you can explain like any line of this code, like from 11 to 15? Do you understand it? Or Dimral or Abdullah? Yeah?
I think I understand.
Uh-huh. Okay, so what's going on in 11th line?
So it's when certain variable x is in range of 10.
Mm-hmm. Range of 10 will be what array of numbers from
0 to 10.
to 10 exclusively, yeah? So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, then Abdullah, what do you think is going to be next? So we have here an evaluation.
Yes. So if the x modulus by 2 equals 0, then it will continue looping. So if the first one is the first x is 0, right?
Yeah.
Then 0, it's still 0. So
yeah. We
0
skip. Yeah.
Wait.
So 0 divided by, so the remainder, this is the remainder operator, right?
Yes.
So if there is the value of this operation is equal to 0, then in this case we skip the current cycle. So at this line we're going to jump to another cycle. It's going to be 1 now. Yeah. Then we evaluate again. If 1 divided by 2, the remainder is not equal to 0, then we print x. Yes, that's why we have the first outcome that we get is going to be 1. Let's check it. Okay, so first value of x is equal to 0. And we know that 0 divided by 2 is going to be 0. So this is true. If this is true, then there is a continue statement, which means now skip everything that is in the body. So here we could have like x plus x equal to, for example, x plus 100. So continuous statement says skip everything in the body and start a new cycle again. So after this line, we jump to x again, and the next value is going to be 1. So after that, we have 1, x equal to 1, and 1 divided by 2 is 0.5. So the remainder is 0.5, which is not equal to 0. So it means now this evaluates to false. And if this is false, we don't go into the if body, right? We don't go here. We just go below. And here we have a print statement. So we print x, which means that we will have the first value printed to be 1. Then if we have another statements, they're gonna be also executed, and then we are finished with this with the body execution here. So next round to another, jump to another cycle. X equal to 2 now. 2 divided by 2, the remainder is 0. So which means this evaluates to true. And if this is true, we have a continue statement. It means skip everything below and jump to another cycle, right? So if I run this program, we have 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Any questions about this example? If not, let's go to another case. So in the if-else statements, we use else clause, right? In loops, we also can use else in Python. So let's go to see the example. We have the same count 0, a while loop that evaluates if count is less than 5. In this case, we print count and iterate count value. And if this value evaluates to false, then we can print count value reached, and we state what count number it is. So what do you think will be the outcome of the first while loop? I think it's easy to understand. If we look to first line, while so Python language is reading the Python is similar to just reading any text, actually, because we say while count less than 5, we're gonna do something, and if while this evaluates to false, then in this case else do something else. Yeah, so if count reaches to 6, then we will print this statement. Do you understand? What is the difference between this and the next example? Okay, if we had if count less than 5, print and count 1, else the same statement. So what do you think is the difference between this and this?
The if will only do it once.
Yeah. So first time we have count equal to 0, and if it less than 5, it will print count, then increase the value of count, and then that's it. The program will stop here. And in this case, the while loop, so that's why it is a loop, it will be executed 5 times, and on the 6th time, it will print us another statement instead of just count here. Yeah. Okay, that's great. And let's do a small exercise. I think we're gonna jump right to these exercises. So we have an array of integers, and we need to return true if the sequence of numbers 1, 2, 3 appears in the array somewhere. So this is the examples. If we have, for example, array of 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, we need to check whether this array contains a sequence of this 1, 2, 3. If it contains, then return true. In this example, we have 1, 1, 2, 4, 1. There is no 1, 2, 3 sequence. That's why we return false. And here we have 1, 2, 3 sequence, then we return true. So I'll give you about 2 minutes for the first time. If it's not enough, then we will increase time. If you don't understand the problem, let me know. What's that? Oh, I see. You just send me the link again. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. You sent them to all of them. So you can try your answers in the link that Abdullah kindly shared with all of us. Yeah, I forgot to share it with you. Thank you. And I think a couple of weeks ago, we installed Jupyter. And if you didn't or you don't know how to install it or have any questions about installation, please let me know. And if you want to check just for now your answers like I do in this browser without any installation, you can type Jupyter, oh no, not Jupyter, Jupyter notebook. And here is try in your browser, Jupyter Lab or just Jupyter Notebook, anything works fine. Okay, I'll send you this link and you can proceed further. Okay. Do you think we can discuss the solution now, or you want more time to try and solve yourself? More time, okay. Sure. Okay, I think we can, before you, if you didn't solve this, let's discuss how we can solve this. Yeah, before even typing the code, we can just understand the logic or the algorithm, how we're gonna solve it. Any suggestion, what we can use from what we already know? And please don't hesitate to just share any ideas. Don't don't be afraid of mistakes. It's just study jam for us to study together. It's not a like class, no grades or anything. Okay, we have some. We have one solution by Aman, and let's just proceed with discussing the task or the solution first. Anything like what can we use? We already know variables. We don't know about arrays much actually, but that doesn't give us troubles. We know booleans. We know if-else statements. We now know for loops. What do you think would be useful to solve this problem?
Loops.
Yeah, loops. How can we use it? Should we loop through this sequence or this sequence?
Second.
Yeah, second, okay. Then when we loop through this sequence, what we're gonna do? That's correct. We're gonna loop through this sequence. And then what's next?
Use the range of sequence
Uh-huh.
and maybe continue until it finds that numbers in the sequence. But I don't know how to write the code.
That's okay, that's okay. So we will get confidence and knowledge or skills of coding by actually coding. So I recommend all of you either to download Jupyter as we did a couple of weeks ago, or use a Jupyter web notebook now, so you can actually type. So I want everybody type, yeah, because when you discuss, you feel like you know, but when you start typing, you understand that, oh, I don't know how to code actually. So I recommend everyone to type the examples we do during our study jabs instead of just listening. So you will see the difference, okay? So let's type together. So first of all, if you don't want to type right now, then I recommend you to say everything that you would type. For example, how will we iterate through this array? So could you tell me exactly how we iterate? What should I write here? What should I type? So do you think we will use while loop or for loop?
For loop.
For loop, okay. Adil, Dimaral, Rivati, Aman, anyone, how should I type this for loop? Suppose I don't know, and you should teach me. Or I am the robot and you give me instructions how to type for loop. What should I do?
While in range.
Okay, while in range, let's go.
And In brackets, maybe 1, 2, 3. But I tried actually this way, it showed bad code.
Bad code. One suggestion I can immediately say is that while something in range, yeah, you forgot the value that you extract from a range. Yeah? So, okay, let's say like while item in range, let's say, so you said we should use the second array here, okay? Then what would you do inside the body?
If
If then, so you want to evaluate something, yeah? Let's discuss the evaluation. So in the problem, we want to compare a sequence of numbers here with the given sequence. So it means that we don't want to just find whether the array contains these numbers. We want to find that it contains the sequence. So it means that first of all, we have 1, then the next one we have 2 item, and the next item is 3. Yeah. So if we evaluate item here, if item equals to, for example, 1, then how would you evaluate the next item in the range, in this range? Any suggestion? How would you do it?
And
okay.
And 2 and 3.
And 2 and 3. Oh, this is a nice example. Okay. So first of all, when we say if item equals to 1 and 2 and 3 and or 3 and or 2, we can say that in English, but in Python, this will be a mistake because we should explicitly evaluate something. So instead of this, we should write like this: item equals to 2 and item equals to 3. Okay, so in this case, you would evaluate the same item to 1, 2, and 3. Suppose we are now in the first loop while item in range. So we have the first item equal to 1. Then you evaluate item equals to 1. That's true. Then you evaluate item equals to 2. No. And then equals to 3. No, that's not correct. And we know from our previous lessons that if we have AND operator, this means that if we have the outcome here true, then we have false false, yeah. Then because we have AND operator here, I forgot the name, the whole the result of this evaluation will be equal to false, right? Because when we have true and true, this will be true, right? If we have true and false, at least one, we're gonna have false, right? So imagine you are in this sequence and you actually have a sequence of 1, 2, 3. Because of the first evaluation, you immediately get false, right? Because the first item is equal to 1, but it doesn't equal to 2 and 3. You can use OR operator here to get a better value, but I think the problem with this code is that it evaluates the first item to either of 3 values, but we intend to evaluate 3 items together. Yeah, we want to evaluate 3 items, then next 3 items, then next 3 items, next 3 items to get this sequence. So I recommend, I don't know I don't have any idea how we can use while loop to get this, but as I think Akash or Aman suggested, we better use for loop. Why? Let me give you a small hint, and then you can proceed with the solution yourself. So we have for I in, I think we know about the length, right? Like this. Okay. So what I did here is I loop through a range of integers, and what are these integers? It is the length of our array. So here in the first example, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items in the list. So I can write it here like range of 5. And we know that it means that we have array of numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4. Yeah. So for I in range of 5, it means that I will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. This is just a hint. It's not a solution. And another hint is that, as I said before, we don't want to just check whether 1 is present or 2 is present or 3. We want to check whether the sequence is present. So it means the first item in the sequence should be 1, the second should be 2, the third should be 3, like here. If we had a array like this, 1, 1, 5, for example, 1, 2, 4, 3, this will be false. Although we have 1, 2, and 3, for the evaluation to be correct, we should have ideally 1, 2, 3 sequence. Yeah? If it's clear, then I'll give you 1 minute more to try and solve yourself, and then we will discuss the solution. Okay, we have Rivati also suggested her solution. Okay.
I think, but the comment after if is not the right one.
Okay, so let's wait for 1 or 2 minutes for you to try and solve yourself, and then we will discuss the solution. We will use for loop that's certain. We will evaluate something that's certain. How can we iterate over array and check 3 items at once? Adil, Jimanal, Abdullah, Aisha, any suggestion you can write in the chat. Just anything that you come up until now. I think what I want to emphasize on is that it doesn't matter if your code is now correct or not, because I think we are just starting to solve problems and it's a bit difficult in the beginning. It's just important for you to try and code, try and solve, although it might not be correct. Okay, let's, if there is no other answers, let's discuss the solution. So first of all, there is a mistake here, but I will turn to this later on. So how can we access 3 items at once? So when we say for I in the range of these arrays, or of these of numbers which are the indices of this array, it means just first item, right? 1. So I see, maybe you don't know actually how to access the array item, yeah? So we have here just a quick explanation before, because we didn't cover it yet. So this is the array, and it is, for example, it's calls nums, yeah? To access any of these items, we use indices, x. So instead of x, we should write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, because the cell where 1 is located is 0. The cell where 1 is located here is 1. Here 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. So if I write here instead of x 0, it will be 1. So in the let's say in the bookshelf numbered 0, we have a 1 in this bookshelf, right? If we type nums 4, it will be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 1, yeah? Okay. If I type nums 5, it will be an error. The error will be indexes out of bound. So it means that there are no bookshelves number 5, because we have only 5 items. So we have 0 bookshelf, first, second, third, fourth, and no fifths, right? Okay, so to access this number, this item, I will count from 0, 0, 1, 2. Okay, so nums 2 is 2. Once you know this, then we can try to solve the problem. So I in range, and we know that the range is 0. Okay, from here, yeah. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the items in range, okay? Nums I. So it means nums 0, yeah, is going to be the item 1, okay? If this item is equal to 1, yeah, and as Dimiral said, yeah, so we should have used and, because we only want a sequence, yeah, not just the matter that it contains these values, but a sequence. And nums, then here is the trick. We will have I plus 1. What it means is that now in the first cycle, I is equal to 0, I plus 1 is 1, and nums 1 is 1. Yeah? If this, the second item, is equal to 2, and the next item, so if you understand the logic, what should I write here? The next item, the third item.
+2.
I plus 2.
Plus 2, yeah, that's correct. Plus 2 is equal to 3. Then we should return true. Otherwise, we return false, right? And we write it here. Okay. The problem here is that when we iterate over the whole range and we consider first, second, and third item, if we go up until the last or this item and we try to access I plus 1 or I plus 2, we will get out of bound, right? So we should limit the range of values that we iterate on, yeah? Because we are considering next item and next item, it means that we should stop iteration 2 items before the end, right? That's why we will subtract -2, okay? Let's try to run this code. And that's correct. We are already finishing this study job, but if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer about this problem. Any question. Don't think that something is super easy here or it's stupid question. Don't think so.
I still don't understand the second line.
Okay, this one.
Yes, the range length nums -2.
Okay, let's go through this. Okay, so we know what nums is. This is the array that we get here. Okay, then length. So we know. Okay, let me write here. Nums is any. Let's consider only the first example is array. Okay, then the next is length nums, which is length nums. This will calculate the length of our array. The length of our array is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because we have 5 items, the length is 5. So I can just write it 5. Okay. This I'll use just to show you what is the outcome of these.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Then we use range of len nums, and this is the same as range 5 because we know that length is 5. Yeah, and this means 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then we say for I in these values. Yeah, it's same. And I in this means I is in item. And when I say for I in this array, it means that each cycle, the I will be proceeding or walking through this array. So the first time I will be equal to 0. Then we run the body of for loop. When the body of for loop stops, I will be equal to 1, and then again 2, and then again 3, and then again 4. Okay, if it's clear, then Let me explain why we use -2. So if I run nums I here, nums I plus 1 and nums I plus 2. Nums I, which means nums 0 is, this is our nums. Nums 0 is 1. Yeah, 0 element is 1. Okay. Nums I plus 1. Oh, no, sorry. 0 plus 0 plus 1 is 1. Nums 1 is here 0, 1. Okay. The one's item. So it means one's item or first item. Yeah. Nuance item or first item is 1. Okay. And the last here is nums 0 plus 2, which is 2. And the second item in our array 0, 1, 2 is 2. Okay, it's 2. Okay. So we evaluate if the first is equal to 1, that's true. The second is equal to 2, that's true, but that's not correct. Okay, then we stop here and so here is where our for loop ends here. Okay, then we go to another loop. Now I equal to 1 and we start again. Nums I is equal to then 1. We say 0, 1. Okay, it's 1. Then nums 1 plus 1 is going to be 2. 0, 1, 2. Okay, it's going to be 2. That's correct. And 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, it's 3. Okay, let's check. 1 equal to 1, 2 equal to 2, 3 equal to 3. Yay, that's true. Return true. And we have here our loop end. Then we go to the next I equal to 2. And then here, if we add 1, it's going to be 3. Add 2 is going to be 4. Yeah. Next time we go into the cycle, 3. If we add 1, it's okay. If we add 2, the index will be out of bounds. So it means there is no item. That's why we should stop our cycle here. Yeah. 2 items behind. Is it clear?
Yes, yes, clear.
Any other questions? Okay, Abdullah, okay, you tried to solve. That's awesome. I'll look through your solutions. So if you have no questions and you are busy with other tasks, then you can, we can stop here. If you have time, I just want to look through your solutions and suggest anything that we can improve. If no questions, then we can stop here. So,
Excuse me, ma'am.
yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, I'm typing the same code that you have typed, but ma'am, it's showing error. I don't know why.
Error, yeah.
Maybe it's saying, ma'am, it's indentation error. That's why I can't understand.
Let's try. Well, okay. So we have nums for I and range none. So okay. maybe I've got where I saw this. Here. Okay. Let's run it. That's false. Oh, it shouldn't be false, yeah? It should be true. Okay. If 1, 1, 2, false.
And we should write else return false now.
Yes, 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 yes. Let's try. Why is red? Okay. No. No. Let's go line by line. So we have 1, 1, 2. It's correct. Oh, no. This shouldn't be else, because if we have else, then it will return false, but it will not be true because it didn't go for the next iteration yet. So this should be not okay. Not else here. It shouldn't return here. So we have first is not correct. We only return false when we stop. Yeah, I think now it works. Okay.
Yes,
So do you understand why there should be else? Because
it only checks for the first element and it says and the next element is 1. That's why it
yeah.
returns false.
So maybe you didn't type correctly. So I have the same.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I see. Perfect. Any other question about this problem? Like if you didn't understand anything at all, that's also fine. I can explain differently. I'll try to explain differently. Or if you understand, maybe say so or thumbs up if everything is fine. Do you want me to? Okay.
For example, you just threw you went through the first sequence, but like, what if we go from the second sequence? Like, why you namely choose -2? Like, I understand that it's because of the lens, like it's over, but still, like, I'm confused a bit at that point. For example, if you take this ray number 3, like, how about that one?
Yeah, if we count from 3, yeah? If we start from 3, okay? So, was it 0, 1, 2, 3, yeah? It's I is equal to 3 here at this point. I equal to 3, yeah? Okay, so we go through the first evaluation. Nums I equal to 1. Nums I here is going to be nums 3, yeah? 0, 1, 2, 3 is going to be 3, which is not equal to 1, but that's okay. That's not what you are asking, okay? Let's go next. Nums I plus 1 is going to be 3 plus 1, which is 4. I can type here 3 plus 1, which is 4. That's okay because we have fourth index here, fourth element, yeah, with the index 4. Okay, then we go to the last one. Nums I plus 2 is 3 plus 2, which is 5. And here is the problem. We don't have the fifth element. So it won't evaluate anything because it didn't find anything to evaluate. Yeah, because here is nothing, and here the problem will stop. Program will stop. It will give us the error. Let's only use -1. Yeah, because you said, I don't know why exactly you use -2. I have +2 here. Here I have +1. I just want you to see the arrow. Oh, there is no arrow. That's interesting. Oh, because I know. There is no arrow because once it will find the sequence, it will return true, and return statement means we are done. The function will be terminated. This is the function, right? And we covered in the previous sessions. So this is the function, and function either prints something or does something, or it returns something. When it returns something, it means it returns the answer here to the call of the function. Yeah. So it means after the return statement, the next statement will not be evaluated. So imagine I here have print, for example, I. It won't do this because once it returns, everything is not important below, because the definition, the function will be over. It's done their job. Let's because we are done before we even reached to this point, let's change numbers here. Oh, false. Okay. That's interesting. We should have a mistake. Well, we have. Let's print here let's print here a test. Okay, let's do here. I think I understand. So because there is no item,
It will just go out of the loop now because there is no 2. Then why would we print I didn't get that.
yeah, maybe. 1 2 3 4 5 0 1 2 3 4 5. Yeah, okay, let's try. No, it's true. No. Okay. 4. I need 4. That's interesting. That's also interesting. So, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, and then 1. It finds it. Yeah. I see. How can we check it before it? That's very good question. How can we give a case to check the index out of bound?
And we can do the second last element to be 1 and last element to be 2.
2,
1 2 3.
like this.
Yes, ma'am.
But one.
Yes, ma'am. It will give array out of bound, I think. Index out
Oh,
of bound.
yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Okay. It's very interesting how to create a test case. Okay. So we have a test case. Let me now explain why it's that. So every time we evaluate 3 items at once, yeah. So let's walk 3 by 3 by 3, yeah. So in the first loop we will go through these items. In the next loop we will go through these items. In the next loop we will go through these items. Everything is okay. Here we will go through the next items, and length is equal here 1 2 3 4 5 6, yeah. It means that I should be equal to last item, last I case will be 5, yeah. Okay, so this is 0 1 2 3 4. At this case, at I equal to 4, we will get a error, because we should go to the next item, but there is no item, you know. Let's go, let's print here. Oh, no. Let's print here I and see. Okay, so we successfully got to the first item. 1 0 1 2 3 4. Oh, no, not here. Maybe here. How to do it? So what I want to show is that we only gonna pass through this 0 1 4. Yeah, maybe it's okay. Yeah, so we first I is equal to 0. We go through these items. Then I equal to 1. We go through these items. Item I is equal to 2. We go through these items. I equal to 3. We go through this item. Three items. I equal to 4. We have I equal to 4, but here the program stops because at 4 there is no third item in a row in the sequence. Yeah. If we put -1, it will be the same mistake. Yeah. And if we put -2, false. So 1 2 3 4. It's it stops at 3 because it's obvious that 2 1 doesn't give us 1 2 3 sequence, I think. Okay. Jamal, is it clear for you why we use -2?
Yeah, kinda.
If we had a sequence of like this, we would use -1 only. If we added one more evaluation, I plus 2, and then we will increase by 1. So it's how much, so how many items we check after the current item. So I think maybe I suggest you to download Jupyter like Anaconda with Jupyter, and then or run Jupyter in the web browser to check, to play with this code, and to check, like use print statement to check any outcome you get. And I think that's, no, I put in the chat this code. And if you have any question, you can write me anytime during this week, or I will give you another example or next session. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining. Sorry for being late. Bye bye.
Bye. See you.
See you. Aman, Akash, do you have any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
I just had one question. You said na to solve Kaggle question sets. I just solved one question. I don't know why I'm getting it wrong.
Okay, so I have another meeting at
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay,
6
ma'am. I will
minutes.
ask next time.
Yeah, next time, or you can write email. I will answer.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye bye.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.